sir, and we have you in the seat right here.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
How are you? Good to see you.
Nice to you.
Hey, pleasure. Okay.
To be good neighbors, they're doing that to advance their agenda, and we should not stand for that.
Yeah.
You know, now if you look where we're at this juncture of the 21st century, what the Soviet Union was to us then, that's really what China represents with the CCP in terms of the threat to the free world. And I think in many respects, the CCP is stronger than what the Soviet Union was. Certainly economically, they are way stronger than what the Soviet Union ever was. And so when you look at that, our national security strategy has really got to view the Indo-Pacific like we did Europe after World War II. And to be able to do that effectively obviously requires us to make sure that we have strong defense and that we can project power. But it really does require a very close relationship with U.S. and Japan. And I think the Quad with India and Australia, I mean, I think that's a good framework, but I definitely think I would say Japan, U.S. are the cornerstone of that strategy. Sure, I don't think, without question it is. I mean, I think that if you look at Xi Jinping, he's very ideological. He's got a very clear idea of what he wants to do by entrenching the party in power, entrenching himself in power, and then he's built up military capability. And unlike maybe some previous Chinese leaders, you know, he wants to project that beyond China's borders in a much bigger way. And I think what makes them a significant threat is they've been able to make themselves, partially because U.S. policy facilitated this, the biggest industrial power in the world. So the things that we do in the United States, like our nuclear arsenal depends on parts and things made in China. And so we've put ourselves in, not just the U.S., but other democracies, have put ourselves in a vulnerable position vis-a-vis China. You know, Xi clearly wants to take Taiwan at some point. You know, he's got a certain time horizon. He could be emboldened to maybe shorten that horizon. But I think ultimately what I think China respects is strength. And so if Japan's doing what it needs to do, if the United States is doing what it needs to do, you're going to be in a position where you're going to color their calculation. And it's a huge risk to attempt something like that. There's a huge amount of ways that can go wrong for President Xi. So I think our policy should really be, you know, to shape the environment in such a way that really deters them from doing that. I think if they think the costs are going to outweigh whatever benefits, then I do think that they would hold off. And that should be our goal. And I commend Japan for doing that. I think it's important. I think it'll make a difference. I think you're going from 1% to 2% GDP for defense, and that is something that is very credible in terms of your ability to defend not just your own people, but to deter threats from emerging, whether it's China, North Korea. Well, if I did that in Tokyo, people would probably say, why didn't you do it in Florida? So no announcement, but I basically, so, you know, I got reelected in November. We had a big landslide win. So no announcements prior to the end of the legislative session. So just stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah.